Thank you, Amarjeet. We do sort of look alike. Good morning. How's everyone today? You know, I heard this is the best Liberal convention that I've ever seen in years. It is. You know, I'm pleased to join you with my colleagues Dr. David Swan, Darshan Kang, Rory Blakeman, and Kent Herod, on behalf of the Alberta Liberals and all of the elected representatives in the province of Alberta. I want to thank you for what you have done and what you're currently doing to build what is the best province in the best country in the world. Would you not agree? It's because of the hard work of individuals like you and leaders in the communities that you represent. We're fortunate enough to live in such a wonderful place. There are a lot of good things happening in this province. And I know this is the best place in the world, because I came from somewhere else in the world. I want you to get to know me a little bit. People know me as a doctor. I was raised in an old town. You might have heard about it. My grandpa was a sugarcane and dairy farmer, and he's a rural doctor, a small town called about 12,000 miles away. Bilaspur, Rajasthan, India. You're supposed to laugh. Came to Canada in 1972. Grew up in Squamish, BC. My dad worked in the mill. I worked in the mill. My dad said, son, you don't want to work in the mill for 35 years like I'm going to work. You got to get an education. Parents were teachers from somewhere else in the world, and they taught us the value of hard work and the need to get a good education. They taught us the reason that they came to this country was for opportunity. Opportunity for their children to build a better life. And when you build a better life, it's important for us to give back and contribute to the community that has given us so much. That's why we are all here as elected representatives from the province. I want to thank Brian Mason for serving our province. Brian, thank you so much for serving the city of Edmonton and the province of Alberta. You've given you and your family a lifetime of commitment, and I respect that. Thank you. Please give Brian a round of applause. I want to talk about what this province is capable of. We are at a crossroads in our destiny as a people. We have such opportunity before us. And this opportunity we must seize, and now is the moment to seize it. This is what I see in Alberta. I see a province that the country and the world can be proud of. Where people say, that Alberta is doing things right. I see Alberta being the center of excellence for energy and environmental excellence for the planet, teaching the world how to do things right. Being the most reliable, ethical supplier of energy and oil products, but beyond that, knowledge and expertise, agriculture, food. To do that, we must bring in world best practices of the environment. This is what an Alberta Liberal government will do to take this province to the next level. We will deal with greenhouse gas reductions. We'll phase out the coal plants. We have an abundance of natural gas and solar and wind power. And biomass. Let's use it. Let's bring Grand Prairie, Medicine Hat, what they're doing with natural gas and Medicine Hat is absolutely great. We need to build a stronger economy and a strong society. I see young people from across the world coming here to get an education because we will have the best education system in the world. We will educate all of our children in our province and encourage others across the country and the world to come here. Right now we have the highest high school dropout rate in the country. That's simply unacceptable in the wealthiest place in the world. And I think we can do better. I know we can do better. Simply because we must. Those who built our province and our country, the seniors, we must treat them with dignity and respect with world-class programs so they can live out their lives with dignity and respect in their own homes or in their own communities. With a large program where we work with the municipal leaders, you. And we actually have to build our cities and our towns and our hamlets. So I want to talk about what's important to you. I've heard loud and clear from many of you what your issues are. And I call them the 3 R's, Raj's 3 R's. One is respect. The Alberta Liberal government will work with you to bring in respect. We will remove any clause in legislation that refers to firing or jailing municipal politicians if they disagree with the provincial government. Do you agree with that? Respect is we must work together as equal partners. You are equals. In fact, I think you're probably greater than us in the provincial legislature. You understand the local issues. You understand what's best for your community. We can't manage issues in your community from 500 kilometers away. You know what your community needs when it comes to the schools, and the hospital, and the healthcare, and the social services. And also, we will bring in big city charters for the bigger cities, for Edmonton and Calgary, and they're special. But you know what? So is Lethbridge, Medicine Hat, Grand Prairie, Fort McMurray, Camrose, Two Hills. Each one of you has special, unique needs. We must bring in laws and rules that allow us to work together. Now, respect. It starts with respect, but it also, number 2 is revenue. We can't say we're equal partners if we don't give you the money to do what needs to be done. Premier Stelmach brought in the MSI funding. I think that was a brilliant thing. It was a very good thing. Would you not agree? Okay. And it's a good start. But you don't have enough funding to build the cities and towns that you have to run. You need more. An Alberta Liberal government will share with you part of our income tax, the oil and resource revenues. They belong to the people. You should get a share of the resource revenue. But when times are good, we got to give you money to pay down your debt. Sustainable, predictable funding is the key. No, the real key word here is adequate. You need sustainable, predictable, adequate funding. We need to give you the money to catch up, because we fell a little behind in building the province and our towns. We need to do a major injection of money into building our cities and towns. Would you not agree? It takes money. And Alberta Liberals will share that money with you. Now I want to talk about responsibility, the 3rd R. Shared responsibility. My idea of responsibility is not downloading all provincial responsibilities to you and not giving you enough money. That's not shared responsibility. That's called downloading. The provincial government, the Liberal government, will maintain its share of the responsibility and give you the resources to deal with yours, but there are areas where we need to work together. I talked about the Seniors Lodge program here. I want to work with the municipalities to build lodges and seniors facilities. It must be done in a community fashion. When the community does it, you're going to make sure our seniors get nothing but the world-class services. The healthcare system can't work. It can't work if seniors are plugging up hospitals and getting sick from sick infected patients. You need family doctors in your communities, and nurses, and nurse practitioners. You need the whole healthcare team. It's vital for a community, especially for a small town. I want to talk about our schools, a shared responsibility in the school system. Well, the Alberta Liberal government will build schools as community hubs with you. Municipal leaders and elected school board trustees need to have equal say on where and when a school is built. Would you agree with that? Not schools as private-public partnerships, which are rental properties. A school in which we can have a daycare for the kids, little kids and older kids. A school with a public health clinic. A school that's open 365 days a year. Maybe a community garden and a greenhouse. That's how you do it. You want to fix healthcare? It's actually education and literacy. Investing in community capacity building. We're going to give you enough funding to deal with FCSS issues. But the school is the center of connectivity of our community. Our schools and senior centers and municipal leaders must be integrally involved in these decisions. So it's respect, revenue, and a shared responsibility. That's how we're going to do it together. And together we rise. And if we do things, we can't do it on our own in the provincial government. I think we should do things differently in this province. You've heard a lot about new management. I'm going to talk about new government. We've had new management about 7 times. And it's led to the same decisions. And the same problems because policies haven't changed. Certain policies must change. Now, I told you a lot of things that need to be done that a Liberal government's going to do. The question is how are we going to pay for it? How are we going to pay for it? The provincial government can't give you sustainable, predictable, adequate funding if it itself doesn't get it. And here's what needs to change. In Alberta Liberal government, we're going to open up with the books and bring in a broom and clean out the closets. We got to go through every line of spending and make sure that you're getting value for your money. We're going to bring in open public tendering of contracts so that Liberal has a chance to compete for the government contracts. No more sole source untendered contracts. I believe we can save at least $500 million in wasted spending. I believe we can save $1 billion in healthcare. I know. Because a lot of the funding you need has gone into healthcare. Spending in healthcare has gone up $6.4 billion. AHS has got a 74% increase since 2007. Population's only up 15%. Our access results need to be a lot better. But just cutting spending is not enough. It's not enough to raise the revenue that's required to build our province. You know what? An Alberta Liberal government is going to talk about the real tough issue that provincial politicians are sometimes afraid of. But you're not afraid of it. Taxes. We need to bring in a progressive income tax. We will bring in a progressive income tax. And a progressive income tax for most families will actually mean a cut for middle income and lower middle income families. A flat tax would actually a tax increase. And yeah, the Mr. Cateses and the Raj Shermans of the world will pay a little bit more tax. It's not about tax increase, it's about tax fairness. The effects of poverty and families whose issues you have to deal with. Albertans are paying too many taxes and too many fines and too many fees. We need to get rid of school fees. We need to lower tuition. We got to charge those multinational corporations, many nation states who are making billions of dollars, and I'm glad they are. We got to address the issue of large corporate tax. We won't bring in a carbon tax that will be charged to the end users who buy our product, and that money, half of that money, will be distributed equitably or on a per capita basis to you, our municipal leaders. Just mismanagement, cutting waste is not enough to build our province and our country. We got to bring in, you get what you pay for. You regularly have to hike taxes because you're being asked to do more with less. And Alberta Liberal government will stop that. I simply believe that we actually need more revenue coming in from the royalties. We don't need to hike royalties. In fact, the royalty holiday is over. We need to do a forensic audit of all our royalties to ensure you are collecting the royalties that we need to collect so you can build our province, and you need to get a fair share of those royalties. So I want to thank each and every one of you for what you've done and what you're currently doing. I simply believe that there's a better future for Albertans, for each and every one of you in our communities. And I'm thankful and grateful for what you do. And on behalf of the Alberta Liberals, look forward to a change in government. And lastly, I want each and every one of you to consider running for public office. My email is rajsherman@hotmail.com. I know there's a lot of Liberals in this room. Please email me, and I want you to run for public office. And I would appoint, and we would get leaders from other political parties in the cabinet because we know they got good ideas. We won't reject good ideas because it came from the other side. We won't accept bad ideas because it came from one side. And lastly, we got a policy convention coming up on Saturday, this Saturday, at the Noble Hotel on St. Albert Trail and Yellowhead. I want to invite you. You got to get a $10 membership. We don't give away free memberships. But you attend. It's from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Lunch is on me. Thank you. God bless you all. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you very much, Raj, for sharing with us your perspective for Alberta and your commitment you want to make to municipalities. My name is Marianne Chichak. I am the mayor